Please note that the voice of our guest today has been altered for confidentiality reasons. Whether you know it or not, you are constantly overriding your boundaries. That's what it means to be a police officer, right? Is you have to be like, when your body says don't do this, you push through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your body says I'm tired, you push through. Your body says I'm hungry, you push through. It's like it is a constant overriding. And this is what I say to a lot of crossdressers that I work with is like, what if this is something that is actually like a nutrient to you that is so important that you have to actually stay with it.
Yeah.
And that continuing to hide yourself, continuing to like shrink yourself, continuing to pretend like that this is not part of your ecosystem in your marriage, like that's actually hurting you more than you know. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Soul Kink Therapy. My name is Emily Letts. I am a therapeutic dominatrix based in Boulder, Colorado. And today we are talking with Colleen. What is interesting about Colleen is that she is a law enforcement officer with a history in being in the military. And today she's going to talk a little bit about her experience being a crossdresser in such a dominant male profession, hypermasculine profession. This is especially close to my heart because my father is a retired police officer, a career state trooper, and so I have a unique perspective around this profession. So I'm very I'm very excited to introduce Colleen and welcome her to the podcast today. Hi, Colleen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And thanks to your dad for his service.
Yeah. 25 years. So how long have you been a police officer?
35 years.
35 years. So career.
Yes.
How old were you when you began?
I was only 21.
That's a baby.
Yeah.
That's a straight up baby.
Yeah. And I don't have any other skills, so that's all I could do.
So what are the skills that like made you think I want to be a police officer?
Actually my father was, and getting out of the military and looking for a job, that's just kind of what I gravitated to.
Yeah. And so when did you enter the military?
When I was 18, or just before I graduated high school.
You've been like raw masculine vibes since you were born, probably.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah. And my guess, so your dad was in the military or a law officer?
Yes.
Wow. So my story is that you were raised in a very hyper masculine household.
Correct. Yeah. No sisters.
No sisters. Do you have brothers?
Two. Yes.
Two brothers. Okay. So when did you first recognize that you were a crossdresser or had inclinations of exploring your gender?
As when I was young, and I've tried to think back, maybe 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I can remember trying on my mom's bra, panties, things like that.
Yeah.
I don't now remember what it was that interested me in that. But I got caught.
Wow.
And
Early?
Pretty early in doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was punished for doing it, was humiliated for doing it.
What did that look like?
Well, I didn't, she found out and I didn't
Your
want
mom.
anybody to know. And well, she made me tell my dad then when he came home, and so that was somewhat traumatic, as you can imagine.
Yeah. How'd your dad take it?
He really, I don't know, he kind of left the discipline up to my mom at that time. And I think he was more confused than anything.
Yeah.
I could remember shortly after that seeing on a bookshelf a book about, and I don't remember the title of it, but adolescent psychology or something, which is something my parents would never have read. So I know that they got it, trying to understand me, I suppose. And then after that, put it away for a long time. Didn't do anything with it. till well after I was married. So
Yeah. What happened once you were married? Like, what was that coming out look like?
over time, I just had more of a desire as I would buy things for my wife, or I'd see her in things, lingerie, uh, wanting to wear something like that. I'm, over 6 foot tall and 200 pounds. She's
Yeah.
about 5 foot tall and about 100 pounds. So
Yeah.
obviously, we didn't share things.
Yeah.
So eventually, the urge just overcame me enough where I would go buy something and I feel super guilty about it. And then I would, throw it away, buy and purge, buy and purge. And that went on for a long time. Or so
Hmm.
eventually, um, I, I'd always had this desire to have a French maid's dress. I just thought
Hmm.
that was super sexy. And
Well, let me slow you down. What was sexy about it?
I don't know that the dress itself, it was short. The lingerie you could see underneath it. Um, the service aspect of a maid waiting on somebody really excites me a lot. Um,
Hmm.
and so and this was probably 15 years ago, maybe. I don't
Yeah. Well,
remember. We were talking about um, she said, "Well, what do you want for your birthday?" And I happened to find a picture of a maid's uniform, and I'd like to get this, and she's like, no." And
so that's how you brought it up to her?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and not that that I had been dressing and purging, but just hey, what would you kind of think of something like this? And she wanted no part of it, and
Yeah.
so as we went along, I did end up buying one, and then, not very smart of me, uh, sent it, had a picture of it, sent it to somebody, and it was on the computer, and thought I had deleted it off the computer and didn't. And then she got on the computer and saw the picture, um, which then led us into couples therapy with a great therapist.
Mm.
And she was super. We loved her. First, I saw her, and then she saw her by herself, and then we went and saw her together,
Yeah.
and we did that for maybe a year,
Okay.
and learned a lot. Her advice when it came down to the end was, "Hey, there's really nothing wrong with him. He's not crazy,
Hmm.
and this desire is really not going to go away." So maybe you could compromise and you could let him dress up maybe once a month. And we kind of left with, no, that's not happening. It's not who I married. It's not who I want to be married to. Not going to happen. So that was kind of the end of it.
How did it make you feel?
Um, well, I really liked seeing that therapist, and learned a lot about myself from it, but kind of made me feel like, okay, it was kind of a waste of time that we communicated great during that time, but we really didn't come to any compromise on anything. Um,
Mhm.
maybe that was asking too much, I don't know.
So
Um,
my question is during this time, it sounds like she had the final word.
yeah,
So
yes, very,
she was
very
just like,
much.
it's not happening. You don't get to be who you are. And you're like, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
pretty much, pretty much.
I'm guessing that that is a long pattern of yours.
Um, yeah, in some aspects, you know, I'm when I'm at work and I make decisions and do things, and that's you know, your word is law, and that's how it is. And at home, maybe it wasn't worth the fight, I guess.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
or ending the relationship for that.
Yeah. Was it like if you continue doing this, I'm gonna leave you?
We never got to that point where we had that discussion. That
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
But it was
um,
like, well, I don't really need this. I don't really need this, so I can give myself a lobotomy in order to stay in this relationship.
um, I think she thought so. That I could just kind of turn it off and okay, well, I'll just quit. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's when you left, that's where you were. You're like, "Okay, I'll just quit."
yeah.
Okay.
Um, knowing that I probably wouldn't, and I would continue to, sneak it.
Yeah.
Um,
But
and then
you weren't able to be honest with her
no,
around that. Yeah.
no.
'Cause it
Um,
sounds like it was really scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then jumping ahead a couple of years, she's a little older than I am, but she went on hormone replacement therapy,
Mhm.
which had good and bad effects. But the good effects was she was like for 3 or 4 months just hypersexual. And she wanted to have sex once or twice every day. She was on her lunch break. She was using a toy on herself. We were role playing. We were into BDSM, role
Yeah.
plays, all kinds of stuff. And it was great.
Hmm.
And then I think as a result of those uh, hormones, she got sick.
Huh.
And um, the doctors say, oh, no, that had nothing to do with it. But I still think it was.
'Kay.
And so she completely went off them. And when she did that, and I am in no way blaming her, so I
Yeah.
don't want it to sound like that, but her sex drive went from
Yeah.
100 miles an hour
To
to,
crashing.
yeah, 1 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So um, that did lead to another discussion about the cross-dressing, which was positive, was
When you were doing a lot of role playing, were your cross-dressing, desires, were they gone?
no, they weren't gone, but they weren't entertained. We didn't do anything where
Okay.
I was cross-dressed at all.
And
No.
you weren't doing anything on your own?
Uh, probably for those 4 months, no. No.
Okay. Outside of that, you were, though?
Before, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so if I went out of town for work or something like that, I
Sure.
would take things and wear them while I was, by myself.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
but
Great.
it's not like I go anywhere. I can't pass for female, obviously, and you could see that. So,
But, like, yeah, so it's really just your own self-pleasure practice.
yes, yes.
Got it. Great.
Um, so when she got sick, or went off the hormones, we had to talk about that, and I said, well, you know how you really didn't understand where that super sexual experience time came from for you. It was just kind of there.
Mm.
And I said, that's kind of the way the cross-dressing is for me. I mean, I can't tell you
Mm.
why, but it's there and it's still there. Even years later from when we did that therapy, and so she thought about it for a while, and she said, well, okay, you can dress as long as I don't have to see it.
Hmm.
So that's not who I married, but I don't want to see.
Hmm.
Uh, so uh, the good part was, if I bought something, I didn't have this overwhelming guilt anymore about doing that.
Yeah.
Uh, the bad thing is, rarely do we have time apart where I have an opportunity to dress at all. So,
Yeah.
and I would like to more.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Is
and
that how
now it's
you
go
Yeah,
ahead.
is that where you've left it? Is that where it is now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. How long has it been
And,
like this?
um, for about 4 years, probably.
Yeah. Okay. And how has it been for you?
Um, I would like to do more. I would like. It's funny because at the end of the day, she'll come home and she's like, "Oh, I just want to take my bra off," and I think, "Oh, I just want to put one on."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. I just like the feeling of it, and I like the feeling of the stockings. I like the feeling of panties, and
Yeah.
uh, just how it feels.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about how, like, what does it make you feel like inside? So those are all the external sensations. How does it make you feel desirable? Does it make you feel, what does it make you feel like?
I think if I don't pass by a mirror, desirable because I like the way it feels.
Yeah.
But I know, I mean, I look at myself and I'm like, oh, you look ridiculous. You know, you
Hmm.
don't look like a woman, and nobody's ever gonna think that you're a woman.
Hmm.
Um, but uh, uh, it has led me on a couple occasions to doing a couple of buy things at an adult bookstore that she doesn't know about. Um,
Great.
that I enjoyed doing. So
Yeah. Wonderful.
yeah,
So it's interesting, you keep saying this phrase like, this is not who I married. She's saying, like, this is not who I married. That's why do you think she's saying that?
because I don't think when she chose me, she would have thought, at that point or years later that, hey, I would be cross-dressing or want to be doing kinky things or, and we've had discussions about lots of things when that, in that therapy session, we did things that she's just not interested in, chastity, cuckolding, she has no interest in doing any of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is interesting because it's, yeah, this phrase of, "It's not who I married," I think is fascinating because that is who she married. It is literally who she married.
Yeah,
And it's
unknown to her, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's really interesting because as a person grows, it's this concept that, like, who I married, you have to how old were you when you got married?
Uh, 22.
Okay. So, like, you have to stay the same person since who she married at 22 for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
How does that sit with you?
Um,
How do you reconcile that?
not not great. Because I think everybody changes, your outlook
That's the
changes.
one constant actually
Yeah.
in the human life.
Um, the more the more things you go through in your life, you see things differently. The things that happen to you or happen around you affect who you are.
Yeah.
And she would tell you that um, one area where I'm not the person that she married is um, I'm much more cynical,
Mm,
less, I don't know, happy-go-lucky. I don't know what you would call it, because of the things that I've seen and done
of
at work
course.
that not
Or
terribly.
traumatizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I think I wish we did um, with young officers was every year you have to go see a therapist and just a check-in every year. I see the benefits of that where, you know, 35 years ago, that would never happen because you're never going to admit weakness in
Yeah.
any aspect. Um,
I'm familiar.
yeah, I'm sure, I'm sure you are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I have to be honest, Colleen, eh, what's interesting about speaking with you is because I have such a personal experience being raised by a law officer, I feel activation in my system, right? Because it's like, do you know what active it's like I feel like,
No.
it means I feel, when I say activation, it means it's kind of like a woo-woo word of saying, like, I can feel myself, like, temperature rising. I could feel myself, like, tensing. I could feel myself,
Oh,
I don't know, it could, whether it's anger or upset or sadness or it just means, like, things are, happening over here.
so can I ask you? So did you have
Yeah.
a good relationship with your dad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's a stand-up guy, and in the same way, one of the reasons that I'm in this work, and I specifically work with men and why I feel passionate. So my whole background's in women's health, by the way. I've worked as a doula, I've worked in birth care, I have a master's in social work and public health, and it's all been focused on women's health. But at the end of the day, I realized that if we're not helping men, like we're just putting band-aids on this world. Like because the pain and the suffering starts in the male body, I personally believe. If we had better fathers, if we had better law enforcement officers, if we had healthier men, more balanced men, then like everyone would benefit. And so, yeah, I was raised by a man who was allowed two emotions, pride and anger, you know? And I have to believe that there is a way to support men who live in a hyper-masculine worlds to get the rebalancing they need. So what's interesting, because the idea of having young men, 22 years old, sign up to be first responders to trauma day in and day out, like deeply, like I'm incest, rape, like you name it, like you're the one who shows up, right? And then not give them any mental or not make it mandatory for them to get mental health support, to me is like mind-bogglingly cruel. And then also to say like, oh, you're also not allowed to explore your feminine. You're not allowed to express your emotions. You're not allowed to be led. You always have to be the leader. It's just like, I find it the deepest form of cruelty that is like walking on this earth. And then we say like, you have to be our leaders. You have to run our governments. You have to make the laws. Ooh, like, that really upsets me.
Yeah, and the reason I asked about your relationship with your dad is, and you've seen it, excuse me, in the news, the actions of one officer someplace color people's opinions, throughout
For everyone.
for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then something bad happens in LA, then they talk about it here or, no matter where it is. And so I thought, okay, did you, well, you grew up and, your dad was a jerk. And to
Right.
you, okay, cops
Now
are jerks.
you're worried that I
heavy-handed
think you're a
jerks.
jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. In fact, this whole like ACAB thing, all cops are bastards. Every time I see it, I'm like, I get so angry. I'm like, that is just wounding. Like you are in pain, so now you want to color every single person who isn't. But the problem is, the thing that I really believe is that our justice system is cruel because there is no mental health support. So
Yeah.
for me, Colleen, I have to be honest. For me, you being a crossdresser is a deeply important part. This is my perspective of your being able to stabilize your being so that you don't get completely hollowed out by the work that you do. To me, it is a life source and probably was a life source since you were 9 years old, because you were raised in such a strictly masculine world without being able to express yourself.
Yeah.
Curious how that sits with you.
No, it makes complete sense because, when I have an opportunity, it's like I'm just detached and
Right. You
enjoy
leave.
it. Yeah.
Right. But also like, what are you like? My question is, what are you like when you don't get to cross-dress? Do you see a difference in your way of being or the way that you see the world or walk in the world from the times where you do get to cross-dress regularly versus the times that you don't get to cross-dress? Have you noticed?
And I wouldn't even say I get to regularly. It's very sporadically.
So what does your being feel like when you do get to?
When I do get to, it's relief, it's relaxation, it's last night I got to, because nobody was home. And so I came home from work, I took off my uniform and I got dressed up and had dinner and did the dishes and enjoyed that and just relaxed in that.
And how did it make you feel?
Felt great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other experiences in your life that compare?
I mean, I enjoy being outside,
Mhm.
if when go to a park or something like national park or on a
Yeah.
hike or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
oh, just completely detached from the everyday grind.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's this idea of like, this is the thing is like, there's this idea of like, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Mm,
You are in a profession that asks you to pour constantly, 24/7, harden yourself. But you are not a hardened service machine. You're a human being. You're a human being. And it's like the idea and what we know what happens to human beings when they are just hardened service machines, hardened masculine machines, right? They make they cause harm
yeah.
because there's no way to release. There's no way to feel their feminine. We all have feminine and masculine in us, all of
Hmm.
us.
I heard you say that on a podcast.
Yeah, yeah, it's something I say pretty often.
Now, imagine that.
So my question is like, is the way that you work is your current agreement with your wife, do you think that's sustainable for you?
I suppose so, and I hope so. Um,
Tell me more.
well, I mean, I want to stay with her. I love her.
Yeah,
Um, but it's just like putting away, one side of yourself and uh um it I if she had something, I wouldn't tell her oh, you can't do that. No, you can't go shopping or you can't do whatever you want to do. Um
yeah,
uh if that's what you wanted to do.
yeah,
Don't.
yeah, especially and I guess this is my question to you is like, my sense is that this is the thing that I say to I've spoken to so many cross dressers. Like these are the people that I work with, and my sense is that this is a core part of your being. Whether it is a sexual core part or it's just like or it's a not, it's just like a way, it's a core part of your being to release.
Yeah.
That doesn't get to be held in any other way. And I guess my question is of like my sense is that like you haven't fought for this core part of your being.
Yeah.
I'm curious how that sits with you.
No, it's 100% accurate. Um, and one of the things you just said was, whether it's a sexual part, it is for me.
Of course.
And it goes, you know, uh, the things that really turn me on now,
Mm.
I think are wrapped up in that, humiliation, discipline.
Yeah,
Um, if I get dressed up, I would say probably almost every time, I end masturbating while I'm dressed up.
of
So
course.
there's always a sexual component to it for me.
Yeah, great. And it's still like so like that those kinks live in your body.
Mm-hmm.
How kinks like whether people like to acknowledge this or not, how kinks work is that they're a part of our being that we would never want to experience in our real life. That it's like the most taboo thing. So it's the thing that we guard against all the time in daily life. Like, my guess is that you do a lot, whether you recognize it or not, you do a lot of work to make sure that you're not humiliated in everyday life. And
Absolutely.
and you do a lot of work to make sure that you're not seen as weak.
Absolutely.
And you do a lot of work to make sure that you're seen as an alpha male,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And so the idea of being feminine, which is, you know, especially when there's humiliation around the feminine, whether you recognize it or not, and I'm not saying that you are this way, I'm just saying this is lodged in your psyche, is that to be feminine is to be weak. There's
Um,
misogyny in your body, there's misogyny in all of our bodies. So let me just say, like, that's not a problem. It's just the society that we live in.
and, I read something maybe a year ago talking about that and had really never considered that aspect of it previously, and have kind of tried to work through that of um, I don't see women as weak, because I know really strong women,
Of
um,
course.
and I would love to be in a female-led relationship,
Of course.
uh, and of a goddess, and hey, you're caged and you don't ever get to come. You will please me. You'll
Yeah.
wait on me, but
But that's my point, is like how kinks work is like our especially in our younger selves, we're like little sponges. So whether you recognize that you were raised in a misogynistic household or not, like your body picked up on it and like seeped
yeah,
into you. Do you know what I mean? And you
yeah,
saw like women who were like women who were housewives or women who wanted to be whatever, you saw them as weak and you saw probably, okay, for women to be strong, they have to be hyper masculine and in charge or whatever. You know what I mean? So then like the idea is like that's the scariest thing, but because we push this away so much, our bodies are magical in the way that it makes this is how kink works. The thing we're most terrified of becomes the erotic thing,
yeah.
which is I think is so fun and so magical and what a beautiful cosmic joke. Um, but that's my point is like, let me see, let me check in with myself. Let's take a breath together. Hmm. Hmm. I think the thing that I'm feeling is, and again, I'm a biased party because I have history, right? Of living and loving a police officer is you spend all day, every day in a service position, right? You go whether you know it or not, you are constantly overriding your boundaries. Like that's what it means to be a police officer, right? Is you have to be like when your body says don't do this, you push through.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Your body says I'm tired, you push through. Your body says I'm hungry, you push through. It's like it is a constant overriding. When your body says I'm in danger, you push through. Like it is complete and utter like mind over all realities. Like
right.
that's what it means. That's what you're doing.
That's a great insight.
Yeah. So that has whether you know it or not, that is caustic on the body and it's caustic on your soul. Like I can only imagine what a relief it was to go see a therapist, to actually get some it's almost like there's like whether these actions like create like gunk in your body and gunk in your soul. Which is why, like, my guess is when you went to go see a therapist, it's like, "Oh my god, I get to, like, show some of this gunk, like, I get to be a little bit lighter, like, I get this is" and whether you know it or not, like, that has actually that removing of the gunk is has deep impacts on your physical, well-being along with your mental. This is
Well,
just how it works. Go
even
ahead.
even having a conversation with you today, um, is great. I mean, it's like, okay, who do you talk to about this aspect of your life?
Well,
Nobody,
this is
you
my
know?
point, Colleen. You may or may not like law enforcement, right? Like it is bureaucratic, it is structured. Like to change anything in that world is, you have to have riots. But you do get a say of what your lived experience is in your household. And I guess my question is of like, you do so much work to not show who you really are at work. my feeling, my sense, and this is again, like, I feel like I'm gonna get emotional because I'm talking to my dad about, like, this is like you're also doing just as much work to not show who you are at home. And
Yeah.
that's the part that, like, I'm like, "Really? Is that really sustainable?"
Yeah.
Curious how that sits with you.
Um, yeah, it's almost resigned to well, this is your lot, and like it or leave. And oh, if you leave, then you're choosing to hurt, your family, to do that because you're selfish to go do that, to go do something.
But
Uh,
it's interesting because it's very, and I understand police officers have this thinking, very binary thinking. Like, you either blow up everything and be yourself, or you continue to be subservient and, hide yourself.
yeah,
And I'm just wondering, like, are we sure isn't there another way?
yeah, I don't
Because
know.
here's my question, like, do you think your wife loves you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you th so why let me ask you, why do you think she's just like, "No, this isn't the man I married?"
Um, I don't know. Um, I suppose I don't know.
Yeah. Do you want me to
If
share my
Go
thought?
ahead, yeah, yeah.
Or did you have something to say?
No, no. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, after talking to and there's a couple podcasts, maybe you've listened to them, talking with partners who have,
Uh-huh.
um my sense is that it scares her. It just scares her.
Well,
That's really it. It's pretty simple. It scares her because if you're so you in my guess is in your relationship, she likes the fact that you're the big bad wolf, right? That you're
yeah,
6 feet tall, that you're a man, that you're the provider, the protector. It makes her world feel safe. It puts order to her world.
that,
Whether and it's more and it's probably also more in concept than it is in practice. The concept of you being the alpha male. I know because this is how my mother works, right? She's a very she's a very dependent woman. She's very feminine, and whether their relationship is healthy and makes sense to me or not, my parents who are still together, have a very like rigid roles that they play. And those roles, again, whether they or not they satisfy each other, because they're both deeply frustrated in these roles, uh, the roles bring sense and order to their life. Do you think that's true for your wife?
yeah, I do.
Yeah,
She likes the way things are, and she
yeah,
doesn't want things to upset that
yeah,
order. Yeah,
yeah. Because it just scares her.
yeah,
So, but as you know, fear is just an emotion.
yeah.
How many times have you marched into something that scares you?
Many, many times.
Many, like daily, like weekly, who even knows? You
Oh,
know that fear can make you do crazy things, but it's just an emotion.
yeah,
It can be super important. It can be it can be saving your life, but it's just an emotion.
yeah.
So my curiosity is, what if you, instead of saying it has to be like this or I need something from you, what if you just got curious about her fear?
Yeah, and asked her about it.
Yeah, have you ever asked her about it? Do you really understand the mechanisms that are going underneath her, or like,
Nah,
yeah,
no.
curious how this is all landing with you.
Uh, it makes me think when we were with that therapist, we sat there, we had great conversations, and then, when we weren't paying somebody anymore to help us have conversations, then we quit having conversations,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So this is why, and this is actually my last podcast recording was a really beautiful example of this. It was a couple. They're an Indian couple.
No, I heard that one. It was great.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you heard how, and this is what I say to a lot of crossdressers that I work with is like, what if this? Because what if this is something that you're not like you don't that? What if this is something that is actually like a nutrient to you that is so important that you have to actually stay with it.
Yeah.
And that continuing to hide yourself, continuing to like shrink yourself, continuing to pretend like that this is not part of your ecosystem in your marriage, like that's actually hurting you more than you know. So what if like this is not like you actually have to kind of like not fight for it, but you actually have to advocate for it.
Yeah.
But it's not like I need this, like this is happening or we're breaking up. It's actually a catalyst for you guys to actually start to be really genuinely curious about each other.
And we can have the conversation and start it and see where it goes. Certainly.
And but like for but let me what if your objective was just to be curious? How does it make you feel? Does it make you scared? What is like what are your fantasies? Like what like just really understanding the full landscape of her inner world.
And oddly enough, I had asked that question before, and it's like, and she goes, "Oh, I don't have any fantasies." And I'm like, I just find that hard to believe. Maybe she doesn't,
Does she masturbate?
She does. Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
Do you know what her experience is when she masturbates?
I don't know, because she doesn't do it around me. So.
That's my point. That's my point is you have a culture in your relationship of don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
And anywhere, take a look at all the studies, any system that has a don't ask, don't tell, like the mental health of everyone involved is not good.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, especially in relationships. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. How you feeling over there, Colleen?
Good. You're great to talk to, and you made me think about things, and I appreciate your wisdom.
Yeah.
And your experience, and I know from listening to you that you've talked with lots and lots of cross-dressers or either through here or just in your practice. So
yeah.
I know you have a great experience.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, like the core comes from such a personal place, from seeing my dad hollowed out, like disassociated from his life. He comes home, he numbs out. He gets on the, you know what I mean? He just like goes away because he has no, like his only outlet for nourishing himself is to be alone in nature, not in connection with another person.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, so therefore everyone suffers.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that.
That's my point. And so that's my point is like this avenue, what if this avenue is the avenue and it's such a gift? What if your cross-dressing is like a huge gift for you and your wife? It could be because it's the avenue where you can like truly play, but it's going to take a little neuroplasticity. Do you know what that word means?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to take a little neuroplasticity on both of your ends, which is so like a very important skill for all kinds of health benefits, including avoiding dementia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is good, important work for both of you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I would love to wrap up shortly, but I would love if you have any advice to any police officers or any first responders or people out there listening who are because I get messages from military folks all the time. What would be your advice to these folks who might be struggling with something that you've struggled with in the past?
It would be find somebody that you can talk to, that you trust,
Yeah.
and whether it's a therapist, but find a therapist that knows specifically what you're talking about. The
Yeah.
therapist that we saw was a sex therapist, and she was great. You know, and there you can be a regular therapist and be good, but I think you need to specialize in what it is, whatever it is your issue is. And it doesn't have to be a sex or a cross-dressing. It could be anything.
Yeah.
But find somebody that specializes in what you're dealing with, and then talk to that person, or have a trusted person, a non-judgmental, trusted person in your life that you could talk to. But I could tell you, it's not healthy to
Hmm.
bottle everything up inside and just, well, I'm almost 60, and in a couple of years I'll die and it'll be gone. So,
Yeah. Wait, so Colleen, who is that person for you regularly?
um, there's a great therapist. Her name is Emily Les. She's in Boulder. No, I don't have
Perfect
anybody.
plug for my services.
Yes. If in Boulder, stop by and see.
I also do virtual.
Yeah. I don't have anybody, and
Yeah.
but I recognize that as something that I need and that everybody needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and just because you're, in the Army or the Navy or in law enforcement, and you carry a rifle or you're doing whatever it is, doesn't mean that you don't need mental health help.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. And also and I'm gonna pick on you for that, going to see a health professional for 1 year. Like, this is a constant, as long as you're in this work or as long as you're in a human body, like, you need that. One of my teachers calls it like a pool filter. You
And
need a pool filter with you, like, regularly, you know? Yeah, so if anyone out there does need support, does need, someone to talk to about this, please reach out, please consider. And also, something that you need to invest in. Like, don't find someone who's and try someone and stay with someone if they're not a right fit just because they're free. Like,
yeah,
this is one of the most important investments you'll ever make in your life, because it's about your mental and physical health, and they're deeply tied. So, like, I know, and especially, I just want to say, like, especially for folks who are service oriented, like yourself,
and
you're not, y'all are not used to putting money towards your own beings.
absolutely, yeah,
So the idea of spending, like, some money on, like, someone who's really gonna help you, I can only imagine is, like, very uncomfortable.
yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's so important. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Colleen, and thank you for your service, and thank you for being a crossdresser. Honestly, thank you. This is, like, I honestly think if we had a culture of cross-dressing in our first responders, like, things would be so much healthier.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for your work and your podcasts. Have really touched me and helped me. So
Oh, I'm so happy
I
to hear that.
appreciate your having me on.
Okay. Bye-bye, Colleen.